Howdy, everyone. I am Ethan Baird from NERFA, and I am here to start us out. This is the first listening party that we're doing, and these are really showing off all of the wonderful content that was created and that we got to take part in at NERFA 2023, one of the sort of first times we really delved deeply into video production at the event. And tonight, we're mainly going to be focused on some of the EPK recordings, which, for folks that may not be aware, is as a replacement of the tricentrics and quadcentrics. We basically had a curated process where the first set of artists got an opportunity to do the formal showcases live in front of a large audience at NERFA. And the next round of folks got to record a private multi-camera video with a professional cinematographer, with lighting and sound and all of that stuff. And we're really proud of the way those turned out. So our goal is to sort of jump in and do that stuff. And our order tonight, we've got 4 artists that did the EPK that we're going to be sharing their EPKs. And I don't know that all of them know the order that we're doing, although I'm glad to say that Benny Bleau, who is going to be the first person that we're sharing, is likely going to join us back here. So we'll have him jump in afterwards and talk about the recording of it and sort of how he thought it went and what he got out of it. And we hope you all like it. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comment section. We'll toss them on screen. We'll talk about it with folks after, but we're going to do in order tonight. We're going to do Benny Bleau, Our Friends Drank the Gold, Chris Matthews' wonderful keynote speech from the conference this year, Sarah King, and we'll end out with Ash and Eric, Worcester-based duo. So without any further ado, and to get myself off the screen, we're going to jump straight into Benny and his wonderful set. Thank you all for being here.
That it's rooted in rocky soil, like you can try to tell a truck that it uses too much oil. But that tree is gonna grow, and that truck is gonna go, and you'll be left with all intentions spoiled. And you can try to tell the wind to blow upon your sail, like you can try to catch a fish by the lip or by the tail. But your boat will stay in place as that fish laughs in your face, and you'll be left with the whales. You can try to tell a man not to live the way he does, like you can try to tell a hound not to howl just because. But that dog's gonna run away, and there will come a final day. And you'll be left just wishing for what was. I'm Bleau, and I started out there with a tune called Fairy Shrimp. It's a tune I wrote, and it's the first track on my latest record called March of the Mollusk. It's all instrumental banjo tunes. And that song right there is called the Serenity Song. And I wrote it for all of us because I think that one of the most common feelings we all feel too much of is guilt. We insist on putting guilt on ourselves over things that we really can't control. For example, when we lose a loved one, we overestimate the amount of control we actually have in this universe. And I'm afraid we're all in the midst of losing a loved one right now. Collectively, we're losing our mother, our natural mother. And it happens every time that a species is placed on the endangered list, every time that a forest is clear-cut for the sake of progress, and every time that we ask Amazon to send us a package overnight in the mail wrapped in about 8 pounds of plastic. I used to be a geologist. I was an environmental geologist, and so I witnessed some of the worst contamination that is residual to this experiment we call progress. And as a geologist, I was trained to think in terms of deep time, the kind of time scale over which the Earth actually lives and breathes. And given that much time, a body like ours, if we're lucky, might become a fossil. And perhaps someday in the future, a scientist might find our fossils. When I am a fossil and a paleontologist brushes the dust from my bones, will they ever find the intentions that I owned? They'll find banjo strings and plastic things and a galvanized aluminum roof, the telephone wire in my washer and dryer, and the mercury in my tooth. They'll find fuel oil leached into the soil and the dogs that are buried here too. But will they ever find my long list of things to do? They'll find the mortar and brick, petroleum slick, all the things that only took a day to ship. They'll find the company fleets with the heated seats still parked on the Vegas Strip. They'll find a valley of steel with a chemical peel and the tar-filled river bends. But will they ever find all the bottom lines and the quarterly dividends? Sophisticated copper running straight to the top of a landfill diamond mine. A europium habit buried deep in the granite and the signature of little boy. Fat man and little boy. Find the cables for charging my electric cars and my photovoltaic cells. They'll find the thousands of ways we come up with today just to save us from ourselves. The agreement to progress, the treaties and promises we signed for our own sake. But will they ever find the footprints I didn't make? Yeah, will they ever find the steps that we don't take? When I am a fossil and a paleontologist brushes the dust from my bones, will they ever find the intentions that I own? Some of those intentions that I try to own in my relationship with the earth. I ain't no cool cat, baby. Ain't no prodigal son. Got no sash or merit badges to show all I've done. But I'm yours, that's all I wanna be. I contemplate infinity, I experience awe. Take a step outside my door and I drop my jaw. I'm here, that's all I wanna be. It can't be nothing, it can't be nothing that we could see. see the light, and when I feel the darkness, you hold me through the night. I'm yours, that's all I wanna be. My father is a prickle bush, my brother is a slug, my mother lives inside a stone, the fossil of a bug. They're here, that's all I wanna be. And I've seen other worlds, and this one's a place to be. Contemplate infinity, I experience awe. Take a step outside my door and I drop my jaw. I'm here, that's all I wanna be.
I adore that video. And with us now is Benny. Hey, bud.
Hey y'all.
Good to
Thanks
see
a
you,
lot
man.
for watching. It was a lot of fun to record that.
The fun part for me, it was scheduling. I'm fortunate enough that because my job is just making sure that everything works, I'm not part of the judging committee. So I just have my fingers crossed that the way it's going to work out is we're going to get great folks for all of the different curated opportunities. And I had heard of you, but I had never heard you. And yours was the first video that Paul, the videographer that you worked with, it was the first video he sent me. So we were all just sort of sitting there being like, this was brand new for us.
Mm-hmm.
We'd never gone through this process before. So we were a little worried. We were like, I hope this works. And your video came in, and I got to tell you, the sigh of relief that came collectively from the NERFA team of like, okay, this is great. This worked out well. I wanted to share that with you.
Right on. Yeah, Paul and his crew did a wonderful job. It not only does it look and sound so good now, but it felt so good the day of, just sitting there in that room. The room, you can't really tell in the video, but it's like a conference hall in a hotel, and so it's this huge hall, but it just sounded good. Like the room rang well, and they made it very comfortable. It was a really fun time doing that, and
Yeah.
I'm just so glad to see it.
Well, it was, what was sort of kind of fun for us was, when we got there, we knew what space we had, but we didn't know what we could use for it. And the hotel basically were like, here's what we're doing. And they're like, what are you doing? And we're like, we're gonna shoot a lot of video. And they're like, well, what do you need? And we were like, what do you have? And they basically opened all of these back rooms with all of this crazy sort of antique.
Oh, cool. To build
like,
the set.
that entire set was just random stuff that the
Funny.
hotel had. And
Big plants and stuff.
and Paul and Aiden and the other gentleman whose name I'm blanking on right now, literally spent the day before NERFA ransacking everything in the hotel and building that space. So yeah, that was I want to thank you for being part of it. It was so wonderful to
thank you
to do that.
We're tuning in now from the studio. I'm here with my friend Mike, a tremendous old time guitar player, and we just got finished like 20 minutes ago recording an old time banjo record. So
awesome! Can't wait to hear that. And by all means, everyone here, the two things I'd ask is, if you like what you hear of Benny's, by all means, you should check out his website. Also, I tossed into the chat. Please subscribe to these people's YouTube channels. Like that, it really helps us to just get eyes on stuff. And Benny, you got some fantastic videos up there. So always great to be able to support each other that way. Also, I wanted to share. I have been trying to up our thumbnail game for YouTube. So I was trying to figure out what to do. So this is currently the one we're using. I was doing my best to take screenshots of your video, which is always fun because video is moving, so there's always an amount of blur. But this is what we came up with. I hope that works for you.
Yeah, very meditative.
Yeah, that was the goal. But your video will officially be up on the NERFA YouTube channel, premiered for people to watch in 4K Thursday. You're the first one, and yeah, awesome, man. Thanks for being part of this.
I can't wait to see Drank the Gold. My good friends Drank the Gold.
Awesome. Well, with that, that's a wonderful lead-in, and we'll just go straight to their video, and then we'll talk to those guys afterwards.
All right, sweet.
Good seeing you, man.
Take care. Thank you.
So those are a couple reels. They come from Ireland. I learned them The last one I learned in the Finger Lakes in Ithaca, where I grew up, from my teacher Ed McGowan, and then the first couple ones were I learned over in Cork, where I went to college. Yeah, just love to play some dance tunes. We are Drank the Gold. My name is Una. This is James.
Yeah.
And we got a banjo here.
Yeah, we like to play tunes, but we also like to do old songs and do our own kinds of arrangements with them and kind of put our own stamp on them. And this one we call See Ya in the Haystack, Darlin'. Hush, little darling, don't say a word. I'm gonna buy you a mockingbird. If that mockingbird don't sing, I'm gonna buy you a diamond ring. Say, darling, say. If that diamond ring turns brass, I'm gonna get you a looking glass. If that looking glass gets broke, I'm gonna get you Billy Goat. Say, darling, say. Oh, my darling, if I was yours, we'd sweep up these apple cores. The apple cores would feed the mill, drink the cider from our still. Say, darling, say. Hush, little darling, don't you cry. You'll be an angel by and by. You'll be an angel by and by. I'll be the devil with the winking eye. Say, darling, say. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good in here.
Yeah. Well, let's play another song. You ready?
Yeah.
This one is,
Where'd you get
learn
this
the
one?
words from W.B. Yeats,
B. Yeats.
an Irish poet. But he called it the Song of Wandering Angus, so I think he was asking for some people to sing it. Let's do it quick. Sounds good. I went out to the Hazelwood because a fire was in my head, and cut and peeled a hazel wand, and hooked a berry to a thread, and when
I dropped the berry in a stream and hooked a little silver trout. When I had laid it on the floor, I went to blow the fire aflame, but something rustled on the floor, and someone called me by my name. It had become a glimmering girl with apple blossoms in her hair. She called me by my name and ran and faded through the brightening air. Now I am old with wandering through hollow lands and hilly lands, but I will find where she has gone and kiss her lips and take her hand and walk among long dappled grass and run till time and times are done. The silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun.
Very nice.
So let's finish up with a couple of jigs.
Yeah, we'll do some jigs. In addition to playing the traditional music, we like to kind of write our own stuff in that style. And this is a set of tunes. The first one is a slip jig called The Florida. The next one is a jig called Drank the Gold, our namesake tune. And the third one was written by our friend Justine Cefalu, a very fine fiddler from Cincinnati. And she calls that Piney Rocklands. And we call this the Florida set because they were all written in the state of Florida, a place known for its Irish music.
been a pleasure playing in this lovely space here at
Thanks
the
so
Berkeley
much.
Hotel in Asbury Park, New Jersey, at NERFA.
Thanks, NERFA.
Una and James, you guys were great. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you, Ethan.
It's really fun to watch that.
Yeah, it was an exciting moment. You know, we had basically just gotten there, put down our stuff, and then we're like, let's go shoot this video.
Show me.
Yeah.
Hey, you handled it like pros. I kind of love the fact that, hey, you guys did a masterful job, but like there's so much history with that hotel being haunted. It has such a vibe that you had like this weird space that was made up of leftover objects, but it literally kind of had a like playing jigs in the Shining Hotel kind of vibe to it that I really like.
Una's family band is the Grady Girls.
Oh, nice.
Just,
Oh,
you mentioned The Shining, and I
yeah.
always thought that was funny. But
if you Google image search the Grady Girls, you find us,
Yeah,
and you find the two sisters in the hallway. Fun fact. Anyway, let's
Sorry.
get back to
Unquestionably, you are more fun to listen to and less stress-inducing. So,
less stress-inducing than a
We'll,
wave of blood. I don't know.
yeah.
Jeez. All right.
Thank you guys so much for being part of it, and hope it's great. We're looking forward to. So Benny is this Thursday. You guys are next Thursday. Will be the live premiere. I'm probably going to redo your thumbnail because Una, I think I was trying very hard to find a shot from the video that had both of you in it, and I don't know that I basically got the backside of you, and I think I can do better. So I will redo that, but we'll have that up for you guys for next week.
That's kind of artistic.
Yeah, well, I like the artistic, but you know, I was hoping to get both of your faces in there.
Fair enough. Yeah.
See what I can do.
Maybe the algorithm would like that.
I hope so. But thank you guys so much, and we'll talk to you guys soon. And
Yeah, this is really fun to watch all these premieres.
Awesome. Well, next is we're going to take a little break directly from the music, and we're going to go to Chris Matthews' keynote. I don't know if you guys were able to be there for that, but
We were. I'm excited.
My lord, that was a barn burner. I think there were 2 standing ovations through it. That was really nice. So thank you guys. We'll jump into that, and I'll talk to y'all soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. On a personal note, thank you for all of your well wishes and especially for your patience as I've been prioritizing recovering what I can of my voice. It has been so hard not to be able to tell you how happy I am to see you, how happy I am that you're doing well, or to not be able to congratulate you on the awesome things that have been happening in your lives and in your careers. Now that I actually can, let me just say, it is so good to be back at the Northeast Regional Folk Alliance. I still remember my first NERFA in either 2011 or 2012. I had just moved to the DC area from Boone, North Carolina. I Googled open mics near me and serendipitously found myself at the Folk Club of Reston Herndon. I was, on many a Tuesday night, the youngest person there, and on more often than not, the only Black person there. Yet, I always felt welcome. There were several songwriters like myself who attended and wanted to share their original songs, but most folks wanted to sing songs that meant something to them and that they could sing with others. There was something so familiar about one instrument and many voices. It reminded me of being back in my hometown, back at Harrison Chapel AME Church. So week after week, I went. I got introduced to Miriam Makiba's music and Elizabeth Cotton's music there. Eventually, I was also introduced to members of the Songwriters Association of Washington who frequented the Folk Club, and they introduced me to NERFA. They tried to warn me about the late nights and utter chaos of guerrilla showcases. They tried to prepare me for all of it, but you know, there is no preparing you for your first NERFA. Your first NERFA is really just a dress rehearsal for your second one. Even with all of the chaos, I still gained a lot from that very first one. I remember hearing and meeting so many incredibly talented artists for the first time, many of whom I am now fortunate enough to call friend. I remember my first On the Griddle and how a seemingly disappointing moment ultimately led to one of the most important relationships in my professional life. As a blossoming independent singer-songwriter with no real idea how to do this thing I was feeling called to do, this community definitely helped inform my understanding of what it would take to ultimately answer that call. It would take me a few years to realize that the call I was actually answering was to be a folk singer. Now, it has taken me a very long time to decide what to say to you, but I think that trying to live up to and fully understand what those two words mean is the heart of what I want to talk to you about. When I was growing up in Richlands, North Carolina, I didn't really hear the term folk music being tossed around. Most of you have heard me talk about my mom, who I affectionately refer to as the Rev. She was ordained to preach by the AME Church, so most of what was playing at my house was Shirley Caesar and Mahalia Jackson, Aretha Franklin, Sam Cooke, and a little Otis Redding here and there. At least, of course, until I was old enough to buy my own CDs, after which there was a lot of Tracy Chapman and Melissa Etheridge. How my mother convinced herself I didn't know what I was saying when I wrote, "I think I might be gay" in my diary when I was a kid is a TED Talk waiting to happen. I can't tell you how many times I've been asked about the folk singers who inspired me in my journey into folk music. No, I definitely did not grow up listening to Pete Seeger or Woody Guthrie or Bob Dylan. In fact, I'm pretty sure that I only ever went to 2 folk concerts during the entirety of my first 30 years on this planet. One was Sweet Honey in the Rock, and the other was Ani DeFranco. And no, I definitely didn't grow up learning to play guitar alongside the Beatles anthology. The only reason I even learned guitar was so that I could teach my college girlfriend how to play, which is also why I play upside down and backwards. Now, this was back when the show Friends was really big and everybody wanted to be Phoebe. I took one look at the guitar my girlfriend had bought for herself and thought, it can't be hard, it only has 6 strings. It's like, tell me you're a classically trained clarinetist in Aries without telling me you're a classically trained clarinetist in Aries. Not your typical folk singer origin story, huh? Thankfully, life has a way of getting you where you're supposed to be, even if it takes a couple of detours and U-turns along the way. There is no other genre in which I could imagine having grown up as a singer-songwriter. And I think that's because I absolutely grew up listening to folk music. I just didn't know it at the time. That's one of the many disservices gatekeepers do to a genre as fluid as ours. And it's why it matters who is keeping and tending to those gates. After all, folk music at its most basic is music of the people. And at its most profound, folk music is music of all of the people. As you might expect from a PK, that's a preacher's kid, I sometimes like to think about genres of music in terms of church denominations. Country music, obviously Southern Baptist. Meanwhile, Americana is more like the Episcopalians trying to reconcile their faith with the inescapable truth that LGBTQ people exist. The folk community is, without question, basically like the Unitarians of the genres. Because even before institutions like Folk Alliance International or its regional iterations existed, that same deep commitment to justice seemed to go hand in hand with this genre. Joan Baez. After members of the Ku Klux Klan bombed the 16th Street Baptist Church on September 15, 1963, a hate crime and an act of domestic terrorism that left 22 people injured and killed 4 young Black girls, Addie Mae Collins, Carol Robertson, and Cynthia Wesley, all of whom were only 14, along with Denise McNair, who was only 11. Joan Baez released Birmingham Sunday in early 1964. Although it was written by her brother-in-law, Richard Farina, her hauntingly beautiful rendition was a wake-up call for many white Americans who had previously not allowed themselves to fully see and then be outraged by the racism ravaging much of America, but especially the South. Phil Oakes. Many of us know Miss Nina Simone's iconic condemnation of the state of Mississippi, But I think Phil Oakes' song, Here's to the State of Mississippi, is a textbook example of what the Black gay community would call reading someone for absolute filth. In one song, he takes the Magnolia State to task on everything from the indoctrination and grooming of its children with dreams of so-called white supremacy to the very nightmarish reality of those ideals. Odetta, with a voice equally as commanding as her stature, opera singer turned artist activist, Odetta grew up listening to everything from the Metropolitan Opera to the Grand Ole Opry. It wouldn't take her long to meld the many facets of her musical influences into the powerhouse performer she would ultimately become. But the impact she alone would have on this genre is still being felt today. The National Visionary Leadership Project released a video interview of Odetta speaking about her life as an activist, in which she was asked, "What role do you think folk music played in the civil rights movement?" After a lengthy pause, she said, "It was central. It was music from those who went before. The music gave them strength, and the music gave us strength to carry it on." If you've ever taken a social justice songwriting class with me, you've heard me reference Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s book, Why We Can't Wait. There's one passage in particular in which he's describing the significance of freedom songs, but I think it also applies to folk music, especially since for all intents and purposes, they are one and the same. He says, freedom songs are the soul of the movement. They are more than just incantations of clever phrases designed to invigorate a campaign. They are the sorrow songs, the shouts for joy, the battle hymns, and the anthems of our movement. I believe that contemporary folk music will not only be all of those things, but it will also be the medium through which history is passed and protected, just as it has always been. That is something Odetta and Sweet Honey in the Rock and so many others did so well. I don't know if this is the case for anyone else, but for me, one of the unintended consequences of the pandemic was a newfound appreciation for the safety of solitude. And so instead of flying, I drive a lot. One thing that has made all of that driving a little more tolerable is audiobooks. I was listening to Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower, in which one of the characters says, "Persistence isn't always safe, but it's often necessary." As someone who uses a lot of words, this felt like the most perfect distillation of what so many of us are singing and talking about these days. We are living in unprecedented times. There are wars raging on multiple continents. We are on the precipice of technology having way too much influence over us, and way too many of us don't have enough influence over our elected officials, which is why some of us are living with fewer rights than our parents and grandparents had. And on top of all of that, thanks to our collective unwillingness to address climate change, once-in-a-generation natural disasters are happening so frequently that they barely meet the threshold of news anymore. These are the times for folk music to do what it has done in some way or form at every such moment in recorded human history, especially in American history. Whether it's Sam Cooke and Bob Dylan singing "A Change Is Gonna Come" and "Blowing in the Wind" alongside the civil rights movement, or Holly Near singing her iconic "Singing for Our Lives" after Harvey Milk was assassinated, or the countless labor songs and freedom songs penned by Black Americans and transformed into so many of the folk songs we still sing today, folk music has done its job and has been an ever-present arbiter of hope and truth. There is so much work to do on so many fronts. There is so much to be said, and those of us with the audacity to call ourselves folk singers, those of us who have something to say must, as the great Phil Oakes said, say it now. And it's not just talking the talk, it's walking the walk. We've all seen the pictures and videos of Peter, Paul, and Mary and all of the other folk singers who were there that day in 1963 at the March on Washington. But how many of us know that Dave Von Ronk, the mayor of McDougal Street, the godfather of the Greenwich Village folk scene, was arrested during Stonewall? Like so many Black kids in the South, I grew up hearing my mom say, "You better know whose you are so you can know who you are." I am a folk singer. I come from a long line of changemakers who understood that when people hope for better, they fight for better. And not only that, I am in an ever-growing community circle of not just folk singers, but house concert presenters and venues, festival organizers, and DJs who understand that music doesn't have to change the world, but it sure does inspire the people who do. But music can only do that if we are fearless enough to let it. Persistence isn't always safe, but it's often necessary. When I was asked to be a keynote speaker, I immediately thought, this community is full of people who inspire me and inform the ways in which I don the title folk singer. What on earth could I possibly have to say to them? But like most good folk music, I don't need to tell you anything you don't already know. I just need to remind you of the truth you already carry. I'm sure some of you will ask yourselves, why should I even try when it has been said before? You should try because not every song is going to reach everybody. Margot Carruthers, who was the keynote speaker at this year's Lunenburg Folk Harbor Festival, said, the only thing you can do to harm these songs is not sing them. There are white people struggling to talk about the Black Lives Matter movement. There are straight people struggling to talk about LGBTQ equity. There are lesbians struggling to advocate for trans women, and on and on and on. You should try because sometimes the messenger matters almost as much as the message. Many years ago, I had the great pleasure of meeting Beth Wood at the 30A Songwriters Festival. At the beginning of her set, she sang her mission statement. Later, during that same festival, I met my friend and sister in song, Kashana, for the first time, and she also had a mission statement. Both of these powerful women, their missions were crystal clear with every intention-filled, utterly profound word that they sang and spoke. But the laying out of exactly who they were and how they meant to walk through this world is something that has not left me in all the years since. It was like an ironclad accountability clause meant to hold them not to some subjective industry standard, but to a standard that was theirs and theirs alone. I thought about it many times, but never could seem to narrow down just what my mission statement would be if I had one. And then one day, as if it was the opening line to a song that I had been meaning to write my entire life, there it was. To amplify the voices of the unheard, to shed light on the unseen, and to be a steadfast reminder that hope and love are the truest pathways to equity and justice. Thank you. My voice is an instrument, but it is also a tool capable of tremendous power, and I will wield it with the care and precision that my profession demands because I am a folk singer. I wear that badge proudly. One of the greatest tricks of oppression is convincing the oppressed that they aren't powerful enough to create any lasting, meaningful change, even when we can point to countless instances in history where the oppressed have done just that. But the thing is, when you criminalize teaching history, when you start banning books, when you start making the quality of education directly proportionate to the quantity of someone's income, you make it difficult for people to learn about that history. Folk singers, and I mean all of us under that giant tent encompassing every subgenre from Americana to hip hop, folk singers are going to be the keepers and revelators of that history. And we have a deep, deep bench. Rhiannon Giddens, Linda Tillery, Melanie DeMore, Sweet Honey in the Rock, Ani DeFranco, Toshi Regan, Rising Appalachia, Holly Neer, Tom Paxton, Judy Collins, Dar Williams, Susan Warner, John McCutcheon, Lucy Murphy, Mary Gaucher, The Neils, Janice Ian, Cheryl Wheeler, Allison Russell, Heather May, Ray Zaragoza, Kashana, Scott Cook, Carsey Blanton, Emma's Revolution, Greg Greenway, Reggie Harris, Joe Jinks, Deirdre McCullough, Ordinary Elephant, Peter Mulvey, Tret Fury, Sam Gleaves, Chris Pierce, Jake Blunt, Mia Byrne, Adeem the Artist, Jill Sobule, Flamey Grant, Tom Prasado Rao, Lily Lewis, Treya Lamb, Saul Paul, Tim Blest, Luke Wallace, Kathy Fink and Marcy Markser, Reverend Robert Jones, Antigone Rising, Humbird, The Wild Ponies, Grace Pettis, Lizzie No, Queen Esther, Melody Walker, Seth Gleer, Jean Rowe, and I bet each of you could add 10 or 20 more names to that list, and that is the point. Odetta was everywhere during her time on this planet, in coffee houses, at festivals, at rallies, and on television shows, turning prison songs back into struggle songs. In one of her last interviews before her death, she said, "They were liberation songs. You're walking down life's road, society's foot is on your throat. Every which way you turn, you can't get from under that foot. And you reach a fork in the road, and you can either lie down and die or insist upon your own individual life. Those people who made up the songs were the ones who insisted on life and living. That was an incredible example to me." May each and every one of us strive to live up to that calling of insisting on life and living. May we never forget that love, joy, and hope are vital parts of any movement for change. May we always remember Phil Oakes' wise words that when I've got something to say, I'm gonna say it now. And may we never, ever, ever forget what it means to be a folk singer.
I've got to say, I've been lucky enough to be on the back end of programming because we do more than one keynote a year now. I've done nine keynotes at this point, and I've gone and been part of to witness an additional 15 keynotes that NERFA has done through the years. I'm pretty sure that's my favorite ever. I really adored everything Chris had to say, and the fact that she was battling laryngitis and had actually taken basically the week off from paid shows to specifically come to NERFA to deliver that just means the world to me. So Chris Matthews, you are the best. We adore you. Thank you so much for being there. Please support Chris. She just had a Kickstarter. If you didn't support, I'm sure you still can. Just want to throw that out there. We're a little over halfway through. This is the first watch party that NERF is doing really to celebrate everything that was done in 2023 at the conference and beyond. We'll be doing this every month. I think next month and moving forward, really with FAI kind of hand in hand. We didn't put too much on them this month because they've got a conference coming up in a couple of weeks. We figured that would probably take their attention. But every first Tuesday of the month, we have these. By all means, subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll get notifications when they're programmed. We'll have the EPK videos that we've already done a couple of, and we've got a couple more, formal showcases, and our other keynote in the future. So please be part of that. Let us know, like, what did you love about that keynote? There are so many great lines. I drank the gold. I think you guys popped up one of my favorite things that was said during it, but I hadn't really thought of it. But that was the music doesn't always have to change the world, but inspires those that do. I think that's a great one. So with all that being said, we're going to move directly into our penultimate video of the night, and we're going to play it. And then I'm going to invite the wonderful Sarah King to join us afterwards and talk about sort of the process and how she felt about the experience. But this is Sarah King, who I got to know during the pandemic through the video program that we did, the music video program that we did that first year. She had a spectacular video. She won, I think it was the spring or summer competition for it. So getting to see her perform live and be part of that was fantastic. And without any further ado, here's Sarah King.
Hey y'all, I'm Sarah King, and this song is called Wedding Rings. It's kind of like Sarah King 101 if y'all have never seen me before. tell you this wasn't the best idea. But you don't listen. That keeps drawing me. Now you're telling me the tale once more again. Now you don't wear wedding rings. And you're saying it like baby before, but I ain't said a goddamn thing. Well, you sure like a badge of honor, giving you credibility, and still trying to lay on her, knowing everything you did to me. Now you're telling me the tale once more again. Now you don't wear wedding rings. And you're saying it like baby before, but I ain't said a goddamn thing. Baby, if you only knew all things I did to you behind your back, oh, you would be so sad. But it's all in the past. I left you too fast, and you finally realized everything you had in me. Oh, in me. Now you tell me the tale once more again. Now you don't wear wedding rings. And you're saying it like baby before, but I ain't said a goddamn thing. No, I ain't said a goddamn thing. No, I ain't said goddamn thing. Cool, so that was Wedding Rings, and this next one is called The Longest Night. Songwriting is a little bit like folk therapy. You sit down to write about songs that, or write about things that you are working through, and I had some things I was dealing with and sat down to write a song, and then this tumbled out, and I realized I'd been carrying this around for a long time, and I didn't need to, so this is The Longest Night. Oh, darling, oh, my love, keep coming round when you know I got nothing to give. And I've been trying, I've been crying. Seems life without you is the only way I can live. You can't stand in front of me with that look on your face, like you don't understand what's just taking place after everything but you and me. Oh, darling, oh, my love, you like having a good woman more than you like trying to be a good man. And I've been trying, I've last time I drove these streets holding your hand. You can't stand in front of me with that look on your face, like you don't understand what's just taking place after everything you've done to you and me. And now the time has come to pass the time recovering from learning you are not mine, and the cold creeps in as if to mind me. The universe is always on time. Please let me pass so I don't break my stride. I'll keep this quiet so I don't hurt your pride. You can have your memories of the longest night I spent by your side. You can't stand in front of me with that look on your face, like you don't understand what's just taking place after everything you've done to you and me. And you think love's enough to walk back through my door, but it's been stretched so thin it can't take anymore after everything you've done to you and me. Oh, darling, oh, my love, oh, my love. And the next tune we've got is called Not Worth the Whiskey. So if there's anything in your life that is just not worth the whiskey that it takes to deal with it, you should probably just let that go. I tried to save you, all that I gave you. Try to save you from yourself when you had no one else. You're deep in the water, misdeeds are the fodder on which your guilty conscience feeds. 'Cause you can't get what you need, and now you're greeted by a day you knew would come, staring down everything we both know you've done. And I can only be good for so long. You done me so wrong. You're not worth the whiskey. Well, I tried to hold you back when I told you I'ma find myself to blame if you set yourself aflame. You walked into the fire, I found you a liar. Your blood won't be on my hands, 'cause you're not a gentleman. And now you're greeted by a day you knew would come, staring down everything we both know you've done. And I can only be good for so long. You done so wrong. You're not worth the whiskey, not worth the whiskey, no. You're not worth the whiskey, not worth the whiskey. All right, cool. So I've got one more quick tune for you. This one is called Nightstand. And got our cool little foot tambourine here. And we'll get right to it. Had this fear of falling down the stairs since my father caught me in midair when I was a baby. I was a baby, When the devil's with me, I must say, he almost always gets his way. Since I was a baby, I was a baby, I was born with the cold wrapped around my neck. It's not something I could ever forget. The world's been trying to take me out since the day I first arrived. There's a darkness reaching for my hand. There's a gun in my nightstand, oh, waiting for music to bury a body by. Just like clockwork, he peers a lonesome soul and ringing you. But I'm not his baby, I'm not his baby, no. But the tail of Venus sways his mind. He falls into a trap right on time. Cause he's not a baby, he's not a baby, no. He was born with the shadows on his mind, searching for something he could never define. The world's been trying to drag him down since the day he first arrived. There's a darkness reaching for my hand. I take the gun from my nightstand, oh, dancing the music to bury a body by. Devil's on my back again, looking out at all those sad young men who won't be my baby, won't be my baby, no. But before I show him what he's won, I better tell him every little thing I've done since I was a baby. I was a baby, I was born with the cold wrapped around my neck. It's not something I could ever forget. The world's been trying to take me out since the day I first arrived. There's a darkness reaching for my head. I take the gun from my nightstand, oh, waiting for music to bury a body by. Music to bury a body by. Music to bury a body by. Thanks so much, y'all. Again, I'm Sarah King.
Sarah, that was so good.
Thank you. It looks so awesome. I mean, I think having such a cool set definitely like helped with the vibe. So I wasn't just like in some sterile studio trying to bring the magic. Yeah, it was really cool.
I think Paul, the gentleman that we got to do the videography, who's actually a college professor of cinematography, who just was a friend of a friend and heard about it and was like, that sounds really interesting. But like when he got there and he saw sort of the back room of stuff, he just went nuts and had a ball with that and the lighting and everything. Yeah, I mean, that's honestly one of the things in the back of our mind is now that we're moving to Portland next year. The question is how do we recreate something sort of that nuts? And we're actually looking at, there is a reclamation warehouse that basically grabs old pieces of houses from the Maine coast and pieces of like lighting from boats and all this fun stuff. So we're going to see if maybe we can go from this year, which to me felt very sort of haunted, Shining kind of vibe. and
right up my alley.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I think it works. In fairness, it goes right along with the music video that you ended up winning that award for. I think that is the exact aesthetic. We're keeping you in a box. We've got
we'll like Sarah, we've typecast you. You are staying here. This is where you belong. Yeah.
You are the bluesy scream queen of the folk scene. I think that works
I
really
like
well.
that. It rhymes. I think I'm gonna have to put that on my website. So yeah.
Aces. So what was I have a couple questions I want to ask you about, particularly your instrument. That red guitar is just such a thing. It is a pretty little
Oh
instrument.
my God. Yeah. So long story short, I knew that I wanted a semi-hollow Gibson, or not necessarily a Gibson, but a semi-hollow electric
Mhm.
because the way that I can manipulate an electric guitar with my vocals is just there's so much more that I can do there. Um, versus playing acoustic. And so I was saved up for a long time and I knew where I was going to get it and all this stuff. And then somebody on Vermont Craigslist had the model that I was looking at. um, he also had, really expensive model too, and I was like, "Oh, whatever, I'll go look at both of them." And, I now own the more expensive version of the one that I was looking at. I didn't have the budget for it, and I
Mhm.
was like, "Well, I saved up enough to buy the cheap one you just showed me, but I heard this one with my voice, and, I'm not trying to lowball you. I'm not going to turn around and sell it on Reverb." And he was like, "You know what, Sarah, I'm retired. I'm past the point of trying to make a dollar. I'd rather be part of someone's journey. I heard the same thing you heard. As long as you can pay me cash on Friday, it's yours." And so that's the very condensed version. I get goosebumps every time I tell that story. But
Amazing.
yeah, it was just like that guitar was meant to find me. Yeah, I get nervous when I'm away from it. Like I have an acoustic that a friend built for me to my specs and all that, and like I
Mhm.
don't get nervous about that guitar the way I do with that little red guitar. So it's yeah, and I love the way that it sounds with me singing, and it opens up a lot for me vocally because, as you know, like I play with my voice like an instrument. Every line is different, and so with the electric guitar, thank you, Bob Dylan, for bringing electric guitars to folk music. And yeah, so that's that story.
The funny thing is that that's still controversial 45
I
years.
know. Oh,
And
cracks me
people are
up.
like, "I can't believe he's done it." I'm like, "I'm a 43-year-old, and it happened before I was born."
Yep.
It feels as if perhaps it's not as scandalous as we're making it
Yeah,
out.
like it's really not a big deal. It's just to me, it's another way of utilizing the instrument to its full capabilities. Like electric guitar and acoustic guitar are truly two different instruments,
Oh,
and
yeah.
learning to work with both, I think is, I mean, it's just like playing piano versus playing guitar. Like why I don't see the problem. Yeah, I can't plug it in and use all the cool effects around a campfire. I understand that, but is a piano not a folk instrument? Like,
It's tough to carry a piano to a
it
campfire.
is. It is. I agree with that totally, but it doesn't make it any less of an instrument like, of the people, by the people, for the people.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 One of the things that I really kind of adore is there really was a stigma for a long time within sort of the folk scene, and you see it particularly in places like old timey where like you have to play this instrument. This instrument
Mhm.
cannot be louder than this instrument. No other like.
Mhm.
And I love seeing people play with the rules and change them, and I love sort of really embracing the fact that folk is an umbrella. Folk is an
Mhm.
umbrella that has so much that lives under it, whether it be jazz, gospel, blues, which you handle so well in this space. It's really it was so nice to have you be part of the community and be there in person. And we're super looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks at FAI.
Yes. Yeah, I'm pumped. I've got, I think, 3 showcases on the books right now, including the NERFA one. Still holding out hope that like someone else will have. I've had a few cancellation offers, but they're all on Wednesday and I won't be there on Wednesday. So yeah, if anyone has any cancellations last minute, let me know. I'll be there Thursday and Friday. Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for what it's worth, we keep getting. So Nerfa went from doing 2 nights to we're now. I think we're the only regional that's doing all 3 nights. We had sort of an offer, and the board and the staff that's going to be there was like, "Yay!" And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. When are you going to sleep? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the nice part is I won't have to run it all 3 nights. We got plenty of people splitting that responsibility. But I'm
Okay, cool.
super looking forward to you and your night on Friday. You're going to be closing down the room with a couple other folks that, frankly, everyone was part of the EPK that's in that round, including Benny, who started us off the night.
Cool.
Um, And we have a special third person that I'm not allowed to announce because I have to have a conversation to make sure it's kosher that they are playing our room. So
Oh,
we'll announce that a little bit later. But that being said, I thank you so much for being part of this. I hope it was a good experience.
yeah, it was super cool. And I think I had mentioned to you previously that like one of the challenges with some of the applications was the length of time for video. For an independent artist to get great audio and great video and get like a live performance of that is usually either quite costly or impossible. Like a lot of venues don't have the capability, or yeah, or they'll be like, sure, we'll do it for like $5,000. I'm like, who has $5,000 in this economy? Like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
my whole, my whole position on social media is like, we're independent. We don't have budgets like that. So to have the opportunity to do this like for free, I mean, cost of conference attendance, but that's a conversation for another day. But basically free, basically included with the price of admission, was really, really cool. I love like seeing the video. The multi-camera shoot was fantastic. I also liked, like at the time I was a little concerned about the microphone and my amp and all of that, because the mic's not up in my face, but I like that a lot now seeing the video because you can actually see me instead of like me up in a microphone. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was it was, it was run really well. Like everyone was on time. The room was really chill. Um, and yeah, I think the only thing that I would have changed was I'm always, when I'm playing live, I always get incredibly amped up and I play everything at warp speed. And my middle two songs could have come down a couple BPMs, but nobody's going to notice that. So, and that's on me. That's not a room thing. That was me being like, this is great. So.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I usually consider that a good sign when I'm on stage and I'm so amped that I'm like, oh, this is the ballad.
Yep. Whoa. Yeah, we went flying into that one. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was definitely really cool. Yeah, and you see me like at the very end, in between my last two songs, you see me stutter for a second because they're like, "Oh, you have time for one more," and I'm like, "Oh, I do I?"
You handled it brilliantly. Thank you so much for being part of it, and I will see you in a couple weeks. And
Yes.
thanks for like. I don't know. Were you ever involved in NERFA stuff prior to sort of the 2020 sort of pre-pandemic?
No, I was not. I didn't start taking part in NERFA until I played at the virtual Philly Folk Festival. And that was when I was like, oh, the folk world does accept what I'm doing as folk. Because when when I was living down in Georgia and stuff, I was not involved in the folk scene at all. And so I moved to Vermont a year before the pandemic. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to establish myself up here. And then yeah, once Philly Folk was like, no, you're in. And I was like, wait, is there like a whole folk community up here that I'm not aware of? Surprise, surprise. Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's great to have you. Thank you for being part of this wonderful folk community. We're going to close off the night with the last EPK video of our friends Ash and Eric. And yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Sarah.
Awesome. Thanks
I'll
for
talk to you
having
soon.
me.
Gotcha.
Lord, I'm tired. I can't remember when I was in. Can't remember if this river ever ran downstream. Lord, I'm tired. I can't remember when I wasn't. I've been climbing toward that summit, but never see above the trees. Oh, you gotta throw me a bone, or put the wind at my back, 'cause every answer is no. Before I can even ask, you gotta unlock a door. You gotta give me a wind, 'cause every option is
my bed. I have paid my dues, I think, thrown every kitchen sink, but it's like running a mile on a skating rink. So I'm laying me down, and someone else has gotta carry me now. Lord, I'm trying. I can't remember when I wasn't on a hamster wheel, running and going nowhere fast. Lord, I'm trying, but easy never does it. And whose idea was it to pick the most resistant path? Oh, you gotta throw me a bone or put the wind at my back, 'cause every answer is no before I can even ask. Yeah, you gotta lock the door, you gotta give me away, 'cause every option is barred before I can place my bet. And I have paid my dues, I think, thrown every kitchen sink, but it's like running a marathon on a skating rink. And so I'm laying me down, and someone else has gotta carry me now. Lord, I'm tired. I can't remember when I wasn't. Can't remember if this river ever ran downstream.
Our last album came out a year ago, and we've been trying to write some new songs this year. We tried to do a Song a Month challenge, and it lasted for about 2 months in 2023. But in January, I sat down and was inspired to start writing a song about my grandfather, who was born in South Carolina and joined the military when he was quite young and lived in Europe for the rest of his adult life. And I've always wondered how it felt for him to leave the South, and never really got to ask until he was gone and it was too late. And the day that I finished the song, I finished the song and then picked up my phone and had a group text running from my family, and it turned out the day I finished the song would have been his birthday. Just a weird, spooky coincidence. So this is Chasing the Light, and it's about my granddad just filling in some of the blanks on questions that I never got to ask him.
flight. Oh, Daddy went chasing the light. Carolina, oh, Caroline, I never did say goodbye. Carolina, Caroline, I didn't know what was mine. Hallelujah. By and by, there's a song that we sing on the front porch with the fiddle and the washboard. Mama sang it out every Sunday, praying one bright morning someday. But I couldn't wait, so I flew away. Now I'm quiet as Tennessee, the cancer erasing my mind. And like the cotton mama taught us to weave, you're the only loose end I can't tie. Carolina, why did I go? You're the last thing that I'll never know. Caroline, will you get on that flight? 'Cause pretty soon I'll be chasing the light. Carolina, Caroline, I never did say goodbye. Carolina, Caroline, I didn't know what was mine. Hallelujah. By and by, Caroline.
So keeping it in the theme of grandparents, my grandparents celebrated their 20th
Times 3.
times 3, their 60th wedding anniversary in 2020 during the pandemic. And we weren't able to gather together with them to celebrate, but I did give them a call and was able to chat with them about this monumentous accomplishment and this landmark in their relationship. And I heard stories and anecdotes, was reminded of details of their life that, I hadn't thought about for some time. And after that conversation, I went out to just go for a run. And as that chat was just swirling around in my mind, a song began to form. And it's a really special thing when songs feel like they just sort of like pour into me from somewhere or something else. And this was one of those experiences. I came home from that run, and in a couple hours or so, I had this tune, Never Walking Out on You, pretty much together. And I'm excited to share it for you all now. This is one for the long road. It's called Never Walking Out on You.
Love is a chain, ours is made of iron. Passed through the flame and hardened in the fire. And I made you a promise, that's just what I'll do, my word is good. I'm never walking out on you.
Mama gave us 6 months when she claimed our young love was doomed.
And she did not give a smile when we married in her living room.
to me.
Oh, I was dogged as a dandelion. Tell you what, it's in my roots.
So when they say it can't be done, sure as hell, that's what you're gonna do.
You were sweet as honey and handsome as you were cool.
Just like a bear to the honey, babe. Well, I could not keep my paws off of you. Love is a chain, and ours is made of iron. Passed through the flame and hardened in the fire. And I made you a promise, that's just what I'll do. My word is good. I'm never walking out on you. Well, it ain't always been easy. It ain't always been a dream come true.
I almost drove right off a ledge just to keep me from murdering you.
I'm glad you turned that car around and you cried out to the Lord above.
He gave me a shot of strength
And a heavy dose of stubborn love. Love is a chain, and ours is made of iron. Passed through the flame and hardened in the fire. I made you a promise, that's just what I'll do. My word is good. I'm never walking out on you. Looking back on our winding path with its twists and turns, its peaks and valleys. Step by step we have made it through. 'Cause you chose me and I chose you, and I still do.
There are days bound to come when one of us will fall asleep.
But don't waste your time thinking I made a promise that I wouldn't keep. This bond is eternal, reaches past the gates of time.
And I'll be waiting with a smile
When you wait beyond that great divide. Love is a chain, ours is made of iron. Passed through the flame and hardened in the fire. I made you a promise, that's just what I'll do.
I'm a woman of my word and I'm gonna follow through.
I'm a man standing on his word, Lord, and you know I spoke true. My word is good. I'm never walking out on you. I'm never, ever walking out on you.
Oh, that was a lot of fun. Ash and Eric, you guys are awesome. I love. Oh yeah, Sarah, over too soon. I agree with you. So thank you guys so much. We're close to the end of this month's listening party. All of the videos that you saw tonight will be live on the NERFA YouTube channel. So by all means, please make sure that you that you jump in and subscribe there. These videos will be going live every Thursday for the rest of the month, and then we're going to have another whole listening party with a whole new set of videos from last year that we're really super proud of, and we hope you join us. And please jump in, ask questions, talk to the artists, subscribe to their YouTube channels, follow them. We all can use the support and the love. But I want to specifically thank Ash and Eric for their wonderful performance, Sarah King for her ballsy bluesy performance, Chris Matthews for one of my favorite keynotes of all time, Drank the Gold, one of the two artists that I didn't know that we featured tonight before the conference, but now I'm super in love with, and of course Benny Bleau, who kicked us off. Thank you guys so much. I will remind folks out there, if you are watching and you are a musician or you're a presenter, you're a music professional, and you want to get involved in this wonderful thing called NERFA, we have a conference every year. And this year we're going to be in Portland, Maine. We're super excited. It's our first time north of Connecticut in the 30-year history. And this is our 30th anniversary year. Not our 30th conference, thanks to, unfortunately, the pandemic, but our 30th year. So please come and celebrate with us. And we would love to have you. And if you would like more information on that, by all means, to register for NERFA 2024, we've got a little URL down there, and would love to see you. And if you have questions, please let us know. Join us on NERFA Talk on Facebook or on our socials, NERFA Alliance on Twitter and Instagram and all of the other things, and our YouTube channel, which is just look up NERFA. Would love to see you. Would love to hear from you. We have peer groups and community meetings all the time. And thanks for everyone for being here and for being part of this. Catch you all. Have a wonderful night. See y'all soon.